trying to catch a pullback in the VWAP on Alibaba. But the market itself, I know the memes are going up, but the market itself is pulling back in here. Like, market's actually a little bit weak off this open. Looks like it's Apple's fault.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
We're just waiting for GameStop to open back up, and honestly, like, whatever. Apple's flat right now, so I don't really know what's happening right there. So we'll wait for that one. Tesla is the one that's starting to go. I don't know if we had a story on Tesla there or not as well, but that one's really starting to go up now, up that 2%. But honestly, man, I mean, I'm just waiting for this. So GameStop right now should be open it's 9:35:46. So 1 minute, we will get an open here on GameStop, exactly 1 minute. And that should be fun. So let's see what happens there. We are trying to buy some more Disney. Again, it's just a price target increase here today. So not a big one. Derek came with that story. Thought maybe it was going to be something more just based on the way that it was moving. But again, trying to play relative strength, right? Just realizing that VWAP is right here, but we should still get our, where was I bidding? 12s? All right, because VWAP's moved up now. So just watch out for like a 106 break. I mean, I think we're going to try to hold this maybe a little bit lower in through a break of like this 105.80. So let's just put our stop there now in case it does go down to the downside. I mean, it sounds silly to say, oh man, we're going to lose like a certain amount. All right, we just got it. GameStop's about to open. Oh, GameStop did not. It is going to open. I think it's supposed to be right now.
10 seconds.
So let's watch out for that.
Yeah, you're right. It was. We still have a couple seconds to go here on GameStop. We should open right about now. It should be any second now. There it goes. Ends up opening 27 something, and now you're getting a move into 28. 28 is that big level on the daily chart. So it needs to hold on to, I think, 26.5. If you're playing a breakout level, 28 is that big level on the daily. After that, I think it was what, like 35 or something like that is going to be the play. So as long as it holds on to the halt band, I think all roads lead to at least that $30 level. If it halts again, we'll check it out. But if I'm playing a halt price, then I want it back into the previous halt is going to be the out. It's a very different trade from buying dips, in my opinion, and then just kind of let it ride.
Yeah, we're now $4 in the money. So I still have an offer at $29.75, which I said we would put out there when the stock was at $23. So here we go. I mean, we can almost take some out right now. This has just been a monster. So I don't really feel like there's any reason why this one might not continue. I'm going to get a piece out if I can at 29 in case it's going. And there it is. So there it is right there, guys. We talked about this being the trade of the day at 8:30, and there it is right now. It's 9:41. So there's another out for us just ahead of 30 now on GameStop. So, I mean, if you're here for trading, real trading, this is exactly what you guys want. This is the meme stock. This is buying dips. This is buying it off the halts. This is doing all of that, and it's going to halt again. So there we go, baby. Nice trading on GameStop. We knew this was going to be it. We woke up, we saw Roaring Kitty, we tweeted it out. It's halted again, Neil. This is exactly what we're talking about. It's a monster. Neil, we're $5 in the money over here. This is a big day. Yeah, you had...
No,
you were brave to take the halt.
The halt trade is a very different trade because the way I see it, if that trade fails, you could be back at like $23. So it's always the same thing. A third out wherever it opens, some out on the first push. I ended up, the second it tagged in the 29, I'm like, put the trail in because 30 is a level and then let it go. I didn't take the halt up here a second time. I just feel like taking it when it's halted at 29.50, like let it do at least one pullback before making another move in there. As, did I hear we're going to Adara? Yeah, let's go to Adara. This is the point where I got to get some locates on AMC because as far as I'm concerned, like, this is a GameStop thing. I don't think AMC deserves a lot of what's happening to it, but let's go to Adara.
Some other names grinding higher here, including Chinese ADR specifically. I know Neil here involved in Alibaba, but we also have Billy up about 8% for BILI, as well as JD.com. JD is the ticker for this one. JD also reporting on Thursday before market open. So keep an eye on all these Chinese ADRs hot right now, guys.
That's why the market's down. Oh my, look at what's happening to Meta here.
Is it getting killed?
So look, you got at least 5 minutes to go station to station on GameStop, so you breathe a little bit. The other meme stocks are all open when this is happening, so you can look at them. But the overall market, which we're kind of ignoring, Meta down 2%. Don't really know why. Doesn't really matter why at the end of the day, but let's let this one calm down. Don't really know what's going on here. I liked the 470 level previously, but like, let's be real. That would have been a support level from Friday. Now that it's chewed through it, I guess maybe short that on the way back through. But Nvidia's underneath 900. Meta's absolutely dying here. So it's a meme stock kind of day. I feel like if you're looking for longs, that's the place to go. AMC's now up 25%, and it's still running. Remember, this is still going to be open. They haven't halted this sucker once. It's right at that high from late April at 375. If GameStop opens up and actually moves down after that halt, this is the one I wanted to play a pullback on. Just can't short it yet. I still feel like they're trying to figure out pricing on the locates here. And I'm still in Alibaba. I want 84s in here. It just can't seem to get to 84 yet. I feel like that's gonna happen any second now, or any minute now, I should say. So one little push, break the 84, and then I trail this back through the 84 level on Alibaba. Up 5%, doing really well. Back above that 200 period Alibaba. Now you just have to hold that 200 this week is the next step.
Yeah, we like the Alibaba there. Good trade on that
How are we
one.
not?
How high did Alibaba go? Okay, so still 84, great on that. So I was going to look at Robinhood. I just wanted to double check what the exposure on the short side was of this name, because this could be one that goes. They reported, just loading up the trade ideas scanner right now. They reported and, had come back in from 19 right there. So let me just check out what is happening here on Robinhood. So GME is in halted state right now. So there's nothing to do until it opens. Nvidia's tanking still? Okay. Short float. Oh, it's only 7%. All right, there'll probably be bigger fish to fry, but something to look at for sure. We did get a piece out there. Oh, that's Disney, sorry, right there. We did get a piece of Disney out near that view up of 20s, only 20. So we took a 20-cent hit there because it's not reacting and the market's going downside right now. So as Neil mentioned, maybe Meta pulling back a little bit. It's too bad that we missed a real long in Meta like a long time ago. Rivian is up.
It's squeezes that are all to the upside, right? Like you just want to pick your poison.
Yeah, without them, there's
anything with a short float right now just seems like it wants to make a rally. Now remember, there's some hedge funds out there that are not just going to lean on one stock. Like it can be an overall strategy where they just kind of pick on the worst companies in their opinion, and they have shorts on all of them. So if you do have some covering in adjacent names, some of it might be, hey, they're covering because they have to. Others will be, we're covering it because they want to load up on something else. So Rivian, not quite. That's not a big breakout. No, that's not significant enough on Rivian that I think it could go that much further. This Meta is kind of crazy. I now have my trail in underneath 84 in Alibaba, and we'll just kind of let this one ride. We rang the register once at the $0.50, but wow, I just keep hearing Sharif even saying, wow, Meta. So the memes go
Takes
up.
a lot to impress that guy,
No, I know, the memes go up, and Meta's still falling. It's at 465 here.
I like when you're impressed with
461. I mean, like that was last week's bottom. I guess that's something here on Meta. I want to look to grab a dip buy in the stock. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing really going on here. It's almost 10 o'clock. That would be the point where you usually get some good levels. And GameStop just opened.
Oh yeah, GameStop right now, 30. So there you go, man. It is a bang, 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 bang. And right now, because there comes the cash cow. He is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. There it goes, a nice move up to $30, $31. Man, GameStop, come on, why you have to do this to my voice? 30, 31, we're still going. Guys, we're long at $24 here. There goes GameStop, a nice move back up to the upside as we continue to go higher and higher and higher. Right now, there goes GME through 31 and then a pullback. So, I mean, there's a flush. So nice little flush there on GameStop. Back in, it hits 31. Now it's gonna halt downside. Watch out for GameStop potentially halting back to the downside. Man, this is fun. GameStop gonna halt in a matter of seconds. Unless, it goes. There it goes the other way. Right now, back up to the upside goes GameStop. So halt, nepa, says GameStop, and right back up to the upside through 30, trying to again. So there it goes, man. Huge, huge, huge. We're still in this name. Let's see what happens with GameStop. What's up,
Another name looking pretty strong here, Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. This one reported on Thursday morning. This is a day 3 earnings play. Short float of about 4.3%. Not seeing much else here, but keep an eye on WBD, guys.
Again.
Again, I said
No, stay.
I'm not taking the halts up
stay,
here. I think I'll play it the first time.
No!
So the second I heard, I have a level 2 up. The second I saw that it was going to the downside a couple bucks, I punched short on Rivian, the only thing that was going that we had locates on. I got a quick scalp trade, but once GameStop went higher, instantly out. I mean, instantly out of that. And GameStop continues to go. It's halting again to the upside here. Just another 4 or 5 seconds. No, 2 seconds. Now it's halted again to the upside. Still going. If you're looking at, I mean, pretty much everything is now running, but GameStop obviously up the most. AMC, that stinks. AMC, when GameStop did that first pullback, was basically free money. As I said, you can't short it though. We didn't have any locates. That was essentially free money. I jumped in and out very quickly for Rivian, but that's only like a couple of pennies were made on that trade. Meta. We probably missed that chance. It's down. It just put a wick in at 463. It's already starting to bounce. Let's play the patience game here. You know, my eyeballs are all over the meme names, looking to trade them like the futures, or GameStop futures. You could have had anything that was sympathy short. When GameStop pulled back $1.50, they all immediately lost the bid. You just had to be really quick. Rivian was the only one we had locates on, so that's what I had. I tried to hit Upstart as well in that same movement, but again, we had no locates, and that broke VWAP in there. Apparently, Affirm's going as well. Again, short flow. It's got a short flow. It's going today.
So, guys, I mean, again, at 8:30, we looked over and said, this is the day that we have the potential. It wasn't doing much in the pre-market at all. Like, you know, once we got going, this is what happened. You know, we even said that it might not be a halt fest. Completely wrong on that one. Bang, bang, bang. 3 halts, and we're ready to get opened up again here, and we'll see where we can go from here. So what a day so far. If you've been trading, I mean, you can decide what you want to do. We're only out of half right now of what we had. Oh my God. What was I talking about with Robinhood? At 1670, what did I say? Potential another mover there. And I went away because it was only 7% short. Man, what an idiot. Now you can see Robinhood right there. We would have had another one for you. But it's the idea generation. You know, that's what it's all about, right? We talked about finding our way into different names. I have Baba written down at 82. Didn't get there. Neil takes it higher.
It was just a breakout.
Yeah, no, that's great. Disney, brand new idea generator right here as well. We just got long off the Fitty there. Fitty. So now we're going to wait to see what happens here on Disney as we continue to go higher now, hopefully, into 1660 or 106.60, back there to the upside. Our dip buy opportunities on NVIDIA, we canceled those, guys. When the market opened and we got out there, I said, we're not playing this one. So I feel pretty darn good about that. And I feel good about the Robinhood call. So we say, like, when you're doing something right, you're doing something right, and we're doing something right. So congratulations to everybody that's been with us here this morning. GameStop has hopefully made a lot of money because it's been one hell of a day there for GME.
You couldn't lose today. Guess what just broke out 21s, believe it or not? Well, I just said 21, so it's kind of a giveaway. But Palantir, totally forgot about this name. That's what happens when the memes come in. Remember $21 on Palantir? Look at the double bottom. Now it's starting to break out. This isn't really a short story, but keep in mind, the NASDAQ's down right now and at the lows, and you have something breaking higher that just put in a post-earnings bottom. So I want to keep the eyeballs on the 21 level. GameStop, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. 2 minutes till it opens back up again. It is worth mentioning, of course, look, AMC is actually pulling back throughout this halt, so there's probably some potential here if GameStop continues to go higher. This would have a chance. NVIDIA, you know, unless you really, really like $888 as a buyer at 85, pretty much gone at this point. AMD on the chip space, stronger than NVIDIA. So I think we're back to liking that break. Obviously a little bit distracted, but if I had taken a breakout on AMD, would that have worked? I mean, you could have scalped it for 40, 50 cents maybe. That wouldn't have been that bad, but ultimately I think that wouldn't have worked out at all. So VWAP sits here in 152.25. Breakout of this top gives you 153. What is this? 53.35 back into 153 for AMD, which is suddenly looking pretty strong. So about a minute or two till the reopen on GameStop. Let's see what happens. I mean, I think at this point, you know, there's anything is a possibility. If there's a halt down, I think that's going to provide some opportunity for some re-entries. if that's your game, but you let it halt down, let it open back up. I don't want to be chasing it up here. You got to be long at the bottom like Sean had, or have a plan for the first breakout, which we were able to grab. Here comes AMD to the highs.
Kind of feel bad about that Robinhood. All right, so Lucid also going to highs as well right now. Like, it's just going to continue, I feel like, maybe today. Look at Lucid. Like, what? Up 10% right now and starting to go higher. Tesla, I guess, is also kind of like a meme name.
Yeah.
The more people get involved with some of these stocks. Also, SoFi's going. All right, GameStop is
33.
Open. 33! Boom! There it is right now. Let's go. Sound that alarm. Onto the screen, onto the screen, onto the screen. We're halting again. This is $10 in the money. We're doing it again. We're doing it again on the show. I mean, let's make Trader TV Live great. There it is. Boom, halted again. Chef Joe, everybody who's long GameStop, it's cook time, and we are cooking right now with GameStop, as it is now $10 in the money, halted again to the upside, and we're having a decent time here so far. Palantir is booming. Big day alert on GameStop. Come watch the show. When? Now! And stay with us forever, as we're not stopping. We've talked about that over and over again. If you can't tell, I love the job and I love trading, and I love going over to the desk with Adara.
Sorry about that. Another name having a big day right now. Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA. This one popping up here. People reporting that they're said to contact potential buyers for drug chain Boots. So Walgreens looking to have some buyers for Boots, according to these reports. Again, not confirmed here, guys.
I don't know how many people care about Walgreens right now. No, I'm joking. All kidding aside. Obviously, there's other things happening in the market, but the meme names are where it's going to be at. The tap value on the halts hasn't really been telling us anything, so it's still just every single time GameStop halts, you're essentially just flat, and it's indicating a flat open. But that doesn't mean it's not going higher and higher. The last halt one, like I said, I took a halt trade, which everyone's like, "Oh, Neil, you're mad for getting out." Not really, because when you take this breakout, if it opens down, like I'm always gonna take some out. If it opens down, you could open up down to like 25 bucks. So it's very different from being long early on when you take a breakout trade. You try to find a re-entry that did give you a dip into the 30 level, but the way these are now going, up here, when you're in this rarefied air, the second there is a pullback down, it's like find a sympathy name and then grip that and then rip it. Tesla 175 is starting to get a little bit out of hand as well. And then AMC, which used to be the big meme name. Look at AMC. You still can't even get located. It can't even bust VWAP AMC when this thing is up $1 million in GameStop.
We're trading GameStop today. We're up 50%. No, on the trade.
Randy's like,
on the trade. All right, but Tesla's going though, Randy. That's going to be a nice one for all of the Tesla bugs out there, because look at this, 175 right now for Tesla. Yeah, straight to the moon here, as a lot of these names are starting to go. And we also have our boy Reddit that we recommended off $50 last week. That's now at 60, so that's a monster move for Reddit. Right there, up 20% in a couple of days. So we nailed, I mean, that was a different one because I feel like it's up now because of GameStop. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. AMC, Randy, I know you like some movies. That's up there 20% as well. But it was this GME, Randy. It's not the number one name, but it's on here. The number 2 idea from the sticky note today was already up. Look at these candles that we've had here on the daily chart. Straight fire, held all pre-market, gave us 3 opportunities for some reason to get long. So there it goes, up to the upside goes GameStop. So yeah, so far so good. It is halted though right now. So I'm just gonna continue on that. But yeah, Walgreens news there, potential buyers for WBA. The beleaguered Walgreens Boots Alliance.
not the exciting, yeah. I mean, Walgreens, it is up decently, but it's not that exciting. Look, sympathy, this is insane. Cost is up 60%. So, like, just understand that GameStop is the one that started all this. The second that shows any signs of weakness, cost will be back down like $1 in an absolute heartbeat. And this stock, it's done a ton of volume, so there's good relative volume in cost. This is just an old meme name. They make like the headphones or whatever. I think obviously they still make
Yeah,
headphones.
something like that.
Yeah, I could probably like they're in a new business now, Neil. No, COS is one of the other sympathy names out there, whether it's Upstart, whether it's, I don't know what else you want to throw out there. Affirm is also making a power move in there, and it's anything that has a decent short flow. But just be careful when they start to come back in, because the second there's a sign of weakness, you just got to grip it and rip it. I'm going to give up on trying to get locates for AMC. It seems like they're not going to give them to us. There's plenty of other names that you can work with that are adjacent, Upstart being one of them, up that 9%. And COS as well, I can try and grab those.
Yeah, COS is there. We talked about BlackBerry. We talked about Robinhood. Sound was moving. And I think the real a big winner has definitely been Tesla, I feel like.
That's a low, low key.
I was waiting for GameStop to open, but let me just check out one more name that we know that is also Beyond Meat does have a huge short float as well. So this name up 6% here today. This might be a good day for me to check in on my cannabis names and see if they are truly, holy shit.
Over.
GameStop right now. Let's go.
38. 37. No, what the hell just happened?
What are we even doing today? Wow, monster move. It's going to halt again to the upside for GameStop. We're $13 in the money.
Bye-bye.
And this is still going. This was graduation day for the boys behind us. This name sat there all pre-market. You knew GameStop was going to be a ripper today. There was no chance otherwise. You had so many outs. Like, you could have got out 24, 22. The risk to reward on this one is absolutely a monster. It's now 6-1. This is Real Trading, and we got a sponsor, Real Trading. Make sure you go find these guys out. As soon as I came in, I right away paid for shorts on this. If this isn't a real trade, then I don't know what is. But right there, GameStop, nice move. Buying those dips. Be part of the fun, man. Join up Real Trading ASAP. And what I wasn't scared about was I'm also able to go short. So you think we're having fun now? Wait till we see this thing turn around, and then we'll start putting on some.
Yeah, we actually have locates there.
Back down. Yeah, they're basically free.
Yeah,
it's like 2 cents.
Same with COS is literally free as well, 1/8 of 1 cent. As GameStop, there's no levels. Just remember that up here. It's basically just air, kind of like MJ. Let's go to the desk. We've got Adara. We know what's happening now, but what else is happening now?
No shortage of exciting market movements happening today, guys, on this Monday. That is for sure. We have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both bouncing off of being about flat, so both slightly positive on the day, giving up some of those earlier gains amid some weakness in chips, which we'll get to in a second. But generally, pretty positive day so far, especially for these smaller names. We're noting as well, we do have Microsoft and Google on watch, as well as Apple heading into this 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we have that OpenAI event. OpenAI and Apple apparently near a deal according to some reports. So that'll be really interesting to see what they announce there. Keep an eye on that event. Other names to keep an eye on. A lot of these Chinese ADRs pretty strong here, including Tencent Music, TME, up about almost 7%. Reported earnings down year over year, but they beat analyst estimates, and they also announced a cash dividend per American Depository share. We also have here NVIDIA. This one initially looking pretty strong, then falling a little bit on the report from the information that Chinese regulators are telling local firms to buy fewer of their chips. So move down for NVDA. Another chip name, though, a little bit stronger is ARM Holdings, ARM, up almost 3% after Nikkei Asia reported that the company is looking to launch a new AI chip. So no shortage of things to look at today, guys.
Uh, 2.5 minutes till GameStop reopens. COS halted before that, so actually COS is going to open up before GameStop in there, which I think is going to be good. I want to see GameStop open. I'm not shorting any adjacent name unless GameStop goes to the downside. Meta's still under a lot of pressure. Just to give you a quick update, is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, Alibaba did just put in its first couple of red candles there on the breakout, so I just got trailed out at 84.50. I was just moving my trail every time it broke. Yeah, every time it broke the even dollar or the half dollar, I just moved my trail higher. I think VWAP's going to come into play here, 83.60. If we can grab that, we'll go ahead and do it. But all eyes are going to be on the meme names for obvious reasons. You know, now that you're up here, again, there's no levels for GameStop, up 110%. If you're not already in it, then COS just opened back up. This is the one, if GameStop goes down, that I'm going to put, that I want to take a short on. It's got to be something adjacent. And even then, it's already starting to fall, Adara.
Another heavily shorted name to watch out here. This one's going to be Tupperware, TUP, up about 45%. Net getting a nice spark in volume here around that 10 a.m. area. Short float of about 20%. Float or market cap of about 60 million. So TUP, another one to watch out here for guys making new high of days.
I mean,
Tupperware's not bankrupt.
I was gonna say, this is the number one idea. You got to get your Trader TV 20 from Trade Ideas, because if you had a halt scanner or something on, days movers, average daily mover extenders, things like that, because like all of these short float names, or even just that scanner that Michael talked about, days to cover, short float scanners, things like that, because right now, I mean, every single name, we just randomly were like, hey, what about Robinhood? And I put on like my macro hat there and was thinking like, oh, they had a good quarter last time, yada, yada, yada. And you can see what's happening now to Robinhood. We talked about it down here. It's not really doing what any of the other ones are doing, but that would be an example of that. And then we're gonna go back into this one as well. We'll go 2 for 2 today if Disney can get going. We did get lucky enough. So we put on first there, wondering what was going on, and Derek came through and just said it was just a simple price target upgrade, so that's nothing for me. But so we had to play it off 106, play it off that 50-period moving average, and try to use down here in the 200 or the day's low as our out. So we're still in 40% of it. I do have an offer at 35, which is the best we've gotten. We've just got 25. So if we can see if we can get something there and then try to hold like 30%, maybe here it comes. Okay, GameStop is now open and it's still going higher, guys. Here comes 40. Okay, there's the pushback. Now it looks like a halt down potentially here for GameStop. So let's wait to see. You can't get out when it's halting down. So you sort of got to wait for this. See if we can sit at 87 and get a fill. We are not getting a fill. We're trying to get out. There it is. It halted. So we did not get a fill there at 37. So, or sorry, 34.87. So the first initial pullback there. That was a great spot to consider getting out if you're still in it. So I tried to punch out there. So we'll wait to see where it opens up. I could see like 33 now, maybe, potentially even lower. So, I mean, we just halted at 34. So let's wait to see where we open up on that one. But that was the move down. So again, be careful with it. We did get that fill on Disney. So as that was all happening, it's too bad that I was over there, but we did have time to react. We did take out 38 and then pushed back in. So I'm not putting out a marketable order yet, but GameStop, that's the first move back. And sometimes when that music ends, we all know that what can happen after that. So there it is, first downside halt on GameStop.
It always says we'll be able to get AMC shorts now.
Yeah, probably. I'm surprised you haven't been able to get them yet.
No, I've tried 20 times. Look, we can short Lucid. So when I wanted AMC. Obviously, I said that all morning long. The second there was a weak move on GameStop, I would get to that. But I got into Lucid at $3 because it put this wick when GameStop came down. It was any short name you could grab. Cost was already halted when this happened, halted to the downside before GameStop even went, so that wasn't even an option. So I have Lucid, I'm gonna give it to the new high, and then we'll see what happens from there. AMC, I for one am shocked. This was the fact that it wasn't even making fresh highs made it the easiest opportunity if you had locates on this one. The second there was a down push on GameStop, and that's why I was trying to get locates the entire way. But it is what it is. You got to be able to move on to the next. The market itself is coming back. Tesla's still at 175. That looks pretty strong. Hey, remember Meta?
Yeah.
Meta's at VWAP here.
So.
With the market starting to come back, Meta's in and around VWAP. This was not a name I was thinking about the short on. What about AMD? Let me just quickly double check. AMD still hasn't taken out the top yet. I think it's pretty much primed to go, and with the market recovering in here, just looking for AMD to take out that top. But we can sit here waiting for the paint to dry on that. Thankfully, the meme stocks have given you a lot of excitement because I feel as if some of these break. I mean, Alibaba happened and Alibaba was good, but I've been looking for AMD to make this break for at least 15, 20 minutes now. I'm gonna put my order back in there again. As I said, Lucid was the one I took because Lucid was the only one available with quick free locates we're able to get there. So if it comes down into VWAP, we'll start taking it out. Gotta keep an eye on GameStop. If GameStop opens back up and just starts running again, believe me, I'm punching out. I got no issues. I can be 3 cents in the money. I could be flat on the trade. And once the sympathy name starts to follow the leader, you want to be able to get out there. Well, I'm assuming Robinhood's pulling back as well.
No, Robinhood's ripping like crazy. And this was, again, so for me, look, we're already super happy with our day. We've already talked about that. Disney's held out okay. But honestly, man, this Robinhood, we should have had that. We did have it. And I was like 7% short. I don't want that. That was ridiculous. There it is. What's up to Rami Rahim? Thank you so much for the $5. But that's even a bigger win. $17,351 there for my guy Rami, who gets in off of the halt. So good job on that one, getting in there, grabbing some calls. We, of course, trade straight shares. So, dancing in and around these even pennies and things like that matter. I cannot believe Robinhood. That was, honestly, I'll pat myself on the back for that, although I don't have it. But we'll see if we could do the opposite in SoFi. We actually went short on SoFi now. So let's see if it can break 730. GameStop is about to be open, so let's wait to see how this one trades. I think a break too far below where we kind of are now, we're gonna have to be careful with it. So watch out for GameStop, like 34-ish break, 33 break, probably considering getting out. It'll still be a $10 winner, but obviously we've given up $5 off the top. So let's wait to see what happens here for GameStop. This is trading. You can't, you put your offers out, you put your bids in, and
you know what's wild?
You can call the right spots.
It's wild. On the way up, there were no tap values higher before it would open, but the second it holds down, all of a sudden it has an indicated open lower at 33. On the way upside, it wasn't doing this. It would open higher off the halt, but it wouldn't tell you that was going to happen. All of a sudden, you're indicating 33s. You don't know until it actually opens where it's going to be, but like right here, I think 30, 27, those are the areas that make a lot of sense. The 3150, or that's 3170, would have been a halt top and then a reopened bottom at about 3170. So that 30 VWAP, if it gets down in there, a little rubber band action is what I'd be looking for in GameStop. It just opened.
There it is. So now, it is open now. 33 coming into play again. There it is. Back up to the upside. Now trying to break a little bit lower. I am going to punch a piece out there at 32.30 there, whatever we got. We'll find out what we got after. But there's a quick out. It could not get back going. We got 32.12s right there. So another piece out. Now we'll hold a quarter of this as it's pulling back in now. There goes GME. Quite aggressively back down into the downside. We knew it's going to halt again. So here comes another halt. Oh, nope, back up. So there we go. Now let's wait to see. Maybe a false halt down there. Back upside now, 31, 31, 32, 32 and a quarter. Can we see 32.50? Can we see 33? No, we cannot right now. 33, here we go. 32.50, $33 inbound, and maybe 34. But as we get upside, that last little halt area, 36.80, 34.75. So we got out there a little piece. We'll still hold every single piece out. Obviously has been a higher situation for us. So let's wait to see what happens with GameStop. Honestly, I'm actually fine even if I hold this all the way back at this point. We're out of 75% of this trade. Let's see what happens now as SoFi not really pulling back and Robinhood sticking near the highs there. Were you able to get AMC shortable?
Of course you now have locates on AMC.
Yeah, there you go.
Like after the down halt on GameStop is when it finally happens. I have them, but it didn't even move on that push down because it had already gone. I was in Lucid. Check that. I still have a little bit of Lucid in here. It just tagged under VWAP when GameStop made that move down. Now remember, just anything that was adjacent, I was punching short once GameStop went to the downside. I got threes. You basically got that move in at 290. You can want AMC all you want, but if this is the one you get, it's what you get. I think down around 280, 285, if GameStop doesn't hold up, makes some sense. Lucid and some of these sympathy names have other reasons why people might want to buy them. So you do want to respect that. But GameStop's going to halt down again. If it does, all right, I can probably give this to VWAP at least if I get this on AMC. So I'm going to take this just on GameStop halting down, and I'll give it, not VWAP, let's give it to 340 as we're going to Adara one more time. But this is what I wanted at 360. We got the locates now. They were very cheap too. 1/8 of 1 cent per share at Real Trading. 1/8 of 1 cent to go short Adara.
Oh.
One has a little bit less volumes than some of the other names running today, but WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers here, up about 14%, short float of about 21.3%. So this one worth keeping an eye on as well here, WW, guys.
All right, I tried to go short Robinhood, which I'm short right now at 17.30. It's not, I have to stop at the high of the day here. It doesn't, I just thought on this pullback for GameStop that potentially Robinhood would pull back. So we put a little bit of our risk that we've made in GameStop into this trade now. SoFi's not really moving, so I'll wait for that. We still have the same kind of a target on high a day, but it does. It's funny how I go from like, oh, Robinhood's going to be a short or a long, sorry, into what position I'm in right now, which is kind of crazy. So we'll take a little bit out now if we can get back into the mid 20s as we're short here at 30 on Robinhood. So okay, nice little pullback. Maybe we get something actionable, more than I thought actually, for a nice little pullback here for Hood. So all right, we're in it. We'll see if SoFi pulls back again, but Robinhood just did a little bit of a dip buy. We got to take advantage of it. Let's start getting out some more here on Robinhood. So okay, so far so good. We shorted it at the highs maybe for Hood. We're still waiting for SoFi to pull back. That would be nice if that happens. And then Disney's doing nothing. And I know it is a pretty bold move, holding on to GME. I do understand that. We're already, it's Monday, you know. We're long down here. We've taken good profit on it. I'm completely pleased, obviously, with the way we've executed on this. It'll be the #1 P&L stock for the day, probably. And I can even get out for flat, and that would still be true. So let's just wait to see what happens now. Robinhood, again, I don't know. We have shares on. I mean, if this one really tanks. The reason why I say, like, I feel like scalping, like the market, unless something happens, I mean, anything can happen in the market today, right? I mean, GME could absolutely be a disaster, and I could wind up losing the whole day on it. So, but I don't know what I meant by it being like the #1 thing. I don't know if we're going to see a move that again on, what am I doing?
The only way that could happen on GameStop is if they decide to do what they did that day with Funware. Remember where they don't open it up after 5 minutes or 10 minutes and they hold it for like an hour. That's the only way, because I mean, ultimately it's going to open up, it'll trade a couple minutes. Even if there's multiple halts the way down, you can get out. What I mean is there was one day, it was like a DWAC day. DWAC halted a couple times to the upside. It was going absolutely nuts. Funware was going up on sympathy. DWAC and Funware both halted at the same time. DWAC opened in 5 minutes. Funware never opened. DWAC then halted again, and then Funware never opened. And then DWAC that finally went to the downside, and then when it was tanking, it halted down a couple times, and it wasn't an hour, it was like an hour later when DWAC had come all the way back down, they finally opened up Funware, and anybody that had been holding just couldn't get out. It was kind of disgusting. Every now and then that's gonna happen. It's very rare. Volatility halts are 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think that'll be fine. GameStop's doing so much liquidity, I think it's okay. But I did get into AMC, we didn't get VWAP, we didn't get it when the turn actually happened, but the first short available was right here at about 330. I got 29s, I was just getting some out there in the low 20s, and it's starting to pump a little bit higher. I'm gonna get off the offer, only because GameStop's gonna open in a minute or two, and there's no need to be sitting on the offer when GameStop opens up. Lucid, I just wanna make sure that I'm getting out of Lucid. I'm gonna cancel that bid on Lucid and go the other way. I'm gonna trail this now to 295 and just see where it goes. So if it breaks back above VWAP and maybe gets above like 96, I'll just get out of Lucid as that one's starting to come back into the downside. Just sympathy plays. I didn't want to be short on GameStop, even though I paid for it. I felt like it had to do something stupid, maybe like a 40 or a 50, but we're able to go over to one of the sympathy names as GameStop should open up in just under 1 minute. Oh my goodness, NVIDIA's gonna be back at 800, 900.
Yeah, oh yeah.
After all of
885.
After all of that, you're gonna be right back at the 900 level. That's fine. You knew where you had to be trading today. It was the squeeze names that were more exciting. I mean, I'm gonna double check on Alibaba. That's one I want to get back into, but I don't think we're seeing VWAP anytime soon. So Baba doesn't have any levels up here in the shorter time frame. Yeah, there's really nothing up here in Alibaba. So like 85, just because it's 85, and then yeah, it'll have to be VWAP. Just got to be patient with Alibaba. It's in a new range here, so you got to respect it and just wait for it to pull back into VWAP.
All right. I mean, we got more SoFi there. GameStop is now open and starting to go down. Oops, let me just click on it. Starting to go down a little bit. Okay, there it goes. So it did get, nope, not anymore. It did go down and then now up. So just be careful with what you're doing here. It just went to 29.50, now back up to 30.50 and trying to dance around a bit. So let's see what happens now. All right, SoFi is starting to come back. I know you guys don't really want to care too much about SoFi. That's starting to come back in. We did take a 28 fill. We talked about that a bit earlier. But I guess I don't know. Starting to lose faith a little bit in GameStop because we can't really hold those bids. Like, it tries every single halt it tried to go. Like, here we go again. It's trying to go again right now. So I feel like patience, obviously, as it always tends to be around here, is very, very key when you trade. So here goes GME. I feel like the better break long might be to wait for a halt and then see if you can catch something there. But for right now, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see if it holds above 30 bucks. And then if we can get a halt to the upside, probably would have to halt around 20. We don't have halt bands there, but we just were 29.50, so you got to add, so 33-ish or so. It should halt us here on this name. So let's get ready. I'm going to get some more out on Robinhood and things like that just in case, but it is starting to go back up to the upside here. Robinhood, our out is right here, a break of 40. If we break the high, we're gone. So we're only playing this because of what we just mentioned. So there it goes now, $8 back in the money for GameStop. So it looks like that halt we'll be fine with.
Yeah, it's now it's really starting to go. I have a stop out, like we said, on AMC, so we're already locked and loaded. No need to add when that's going into the upside there. Jay Rue, appreciate the super chat in there. It ain't over by a long shot. It's only 10.20. This didn't get to VWAP, obviously, but it did make the turn at that $30 level on GME. The next halt price is like that 33 in there, so it's still in a bit. There it goes, going into a halt. No, it might halt at 31.98. Nah, it ended up not halting there at 31.98. This is still the halt band at 31.98. If it goes into a halt, I am going to punch out half of AMC regardless the second I see it halt. Only out of the money 3 cents on AMC. Like, that's an easy decision. Oh, I don't want to be long. No. There we go. Let's just get out of that one. We're in a halt now on GameStop. So let's just get out of that one very quickly. Lucid, we're good because we're in the money on that one. But AMC, let's just get out. As this should be a wild one because I have a funny feeling the small cap recap is going to be dominated by names that have short floats at Arrow.
You would be correct. This is a special small cap recap with an emphasis on these heavily shorted names that are small caps as well. We have the IWM Russell 2000 just to kick off, getting a little bit of a move to the downside despite making a slightly higher high earlier today. Still up on the day though is the Russell 2000. First name here on the list is going to be ChargePoint CHPT, 25% short float for this one. Nice volume spike around 10 a.m. putting this one on the list here. We also have here KSS. This is going to be Kohl's slightly larger market cap, about 2.6 billion, but still fairly small comparatively, and a short float of around 32%. So KSS also benefiting from this short float spike. Last but not least here, we have SAVE. This is going to be Spirit Airlines, falling down a little bit, but still up about 10%. Short float of about 26%. SAVE, one of the many short floated small cap names to be running today, guys.
So it's actually like SoFi. McDonald's is going down. There's some watchdog alert there from China. Food issues in China. That's great. Okay, so here we go. Nice little downside move though for SoFi. So we just shorted that one. So we're starting to get some out right now as this is pushing back in 7.15. So I mean, for me, yeah, buddy, decent trade there. But we'll give it back because of Hood. So one went one way, one went the other. So I guess we chose the wrong one, and it's funny that we talked about getting Robinhood long down here at 1680, considering where that bad boy is right now. So missed opportunity definitely there on Robinhood, but took advantage the other way on SoFi. So it'll be a net game if it stays here. If SoFi goes up, then we'll wind up losing on both of those trades. But for right now, it's all good. NVIDIA, again, we liked 900 dip buys, but then that got squashed on that China stuff. And then here's McDonald's one more time, as we mentioned there, just a little look in from China. I mean, I guess the idea is that if anything winds up happening in China, then that's bad. You know, having to shut down or whatever what winds up being right now. I didn't pay for shorts on AMC or anything like that, but this is again, I don't favor the short anywhere. So we'll wait. Yeah, Novavax we're hearing as well. Apple.
I forgot about these.
A lot of things just really aren't moving right now. The market is pretty flat. I mean, Apple's still at here's Apple right here. Apple's still at 185. We wanted to buy the dips at 184. And the best we got was 184.50, but we were involved in something called GameStop, so I didn't I didn't really focus too much on Apple right there. But we are going to have to start to look around now because things are starting to die down, including I know you already had Alibaba. Oh, I talked about this. The other name that was on the sticky note that's been left basically for naught is ARM. ARM came into 110 again, 110.85. So we're back into that level one more time here. So that could be something. I was waiting at 110.25, so I don't have that name anyways. But ARM now trying to come back in one more time to the bottom. So this is a little strange to me. Figured with the market trying to battle up, ARM would not be down off open, but they are. So right now, ARM trying to figure it out, and we're now 7 cents in the money. But on SoFi, waiting for GameStop to open up.
Yeah, and when they do, which it will be in about a minute and a half or so, or just under 2 minutes, Novavax, 30-something% short float. They're pretty gigantic as well. They did have going concern issues, which they got a deal from Sanofi, and that's no longer the case. So the shorts have been unwinding. Let's just say it nicely, the last couple of days. This just did a breakout, again, past 1050, almost out of, I should say it's not out of nowhere because it's a big squeeze name and it was last week, so this is adjacent. Anything squeeze potential, you gotta have the eyes on today. This could hold, but it hasn't done so yet today. I'm gonna look for a dip and rip on Novavax. As long as GameStop isn't falling apart, I think you want to try to find these. I just heard DJT's making some runs as well. So it's like anything with a short pulse is going to start to go. And this was one that was going anyways. I'm still in Lucid. I punched out of AMC when GameStop halted, but I'm still in Lucid with just a trailing stop. So if it gets above 296, then we'll get out of that one. But Novavax on a dip is going to be the next place I would look. Back into a previous breakout high. As long as we open up on GameStop and this doesn't fall apart, Novavax has a lot of room on that daily as well. The resumption price, CompuCare team's asking, GameStop showing me a flat open, 31.98 the whole price, and then it's indicating 31.98. So, you know, whenever it halts up, it seems like it's indicating a flat open, and then when it halted down, it was indicating, it actually showed you the down.
32, yeah, we're
Yeah, so it's opening now at $32. Looks like it's still going. I'm gonna have that look at Novavax, see if that's gonna continue to go.
Yeah, starting to go back up to the upside again. We'll watch out for this. We're back. I mean, we're not back in. We're still in. We're still $8 in right now. Starting to go back up. Guess what? Janet Yellen now talking. So great. From Fed to Janet Yellen. 37 coming into play. Maybe for GameStop would be sort of the level that I'd look at. I mean, we'd have to halt before we get up there, I guess, the way it's moving. It's just so stupid. I really think that this stock could absolutely moon after hours if it keeps doing anything similar to this, or even if it calms down. There's no halts or anything like that. This thing could be at $80 because no one's going to halt this and let people get out. So you're just going to be forced to get out wherever it comes through, and that's a disaster for short. So we'll just be careful going short this name. We're nowhere near the closing of the day. Of course, it's only 10:30, but watch out. Here we go again. The diamond hands at least are working now, but we did get out already at this exact level pretty much, 32.30s last time. So it's up a little bit from our last out. I thought we did really good, and someone in the chat said that was a bold move holding it, so I want to say thank you for that there, because, yeah, we always talk about this fortune favors the bold in this business. So we'll wait to see what happens now. $33, it looks, you know, possible pullback again. I still feel comfortable waiting for VWAP, and I understand that that's giving up this much money. So if for traders out there that are a little more risk adverse and you think this is a great move back, and I would agree 100%. I mean, we were just at $30. So like, although you'd be like, oh man, this is only 10% in the money or whatever, it's still a monster. So you might want to consider doing some stuff like that, taking something out at some point on GameStop if you have not. So nice move up, but seems to be a little more orderly now. If anything, I'm thinking it's looking like a short, it seems like. So watch out here for GameStop.
Yeah, it just came back under the whole price. So GameStop just came back underneath the whole price. So I just jumped back into AMC. Off of VWAP in there. So GME, there you go, double them up. So it just broke the whole price. You have a wick above on GameStop right in here, and then pulling back underneath. So if it gets back above like 32 or so, that can be a reason to get this punch out. Otherwise, I'll just punch out at that local high. When GameStop was halted, I was short in AMC and just punched out. When GameStop showed me the halt to the upside, you could just punch out, not have to wait for it to go up. I accidentally went long and then punched out of that as well. I wasn't looking to be long on AMC. So we're gonna go right back over to the same strategy, which is weakness in GameStop at any point, and we go into AMC. Still no break on AMD, and NVIDIA doesn't break 900 either. So if you're watching those chip names, NVIDIA can't get past 900, it looks like. It just turned around, and AMD did the same thing at the high of the day. So, I mean, the story is still going to be the meme stocks. Meta, for everyone that's interested, still in what's going on there. It did bust VWAP and went higher. clearly our attention was over in some of the meme names when that was going on. But Meta did do a nice little pullback and then give you an opportunity to get in. And I just heard Sharif say Apple. Apple just broke the highs as well. We wanted to be long Apple, and all of this other stuff happened. But look at it hold at 85. I guess different VWAP's in play. 185.50, the breakout price. If you like those, plenty of opportunities to still get in.
The worst part is here. Play Apple off VWAP. Like, it's just so stupid because that's exactly what wound up holding. So good play there. Anybody that has that. And of course, we said we weren't trying to go anywhere, but GameStop right now is not going anywhere either. $33, $34 looks like the top of this most recent move. So you got to get that break of 34 to start to scare people out that are holding shorts for some reason in GameStop. But again, like, if you're short it, you're going to have, I mean, if you're short it and you're a disciple of mine, then you're going to have an out. So I look at something like this and say 34, 34.15, 34.20. So I want to see that getting to that level and then testing it, right? Because that's the breakout there. So if you do have like an extraordinary position still or something that you felt like you haven't gotten enough out of, this is a good spot because that 34, it's come up to that a couple times and not really had too much reaction off that. I guess it was, I don't know, fourth hold spot. That doesn't really matter. But anyways, let's just see what happens there if we do wind up pulling some back. We've made money on SoFi. We just got a 21 fill before GameStop opened back up, and now it's going up to the upside there. I did want to... Okay, so Alibaba's already there. Because Alibaba, I know you're out of it, but that was a good trade anyways at the beginning. If it pulls back, again, there's that VWAP trade, so 83.70. The market's so strong, not so strong, but it's been bullish here, bouncing off VWAP and trying to hold. I don't know if we're going to get any of those moves down on Alibaba, so potentially maybe a little bit greedier is what's necessary at some point. But for right now, Alibaba is trying to hold the highs, up 5%, and that's a pretty darn good move. But the market's trying to pull in a little bit, and we did get some more out of Disney, so I just had to tell you that, because it just went up to VWAP again. So not an overly exciting trade here for Disney, but we made the mistake early of getting in on some action, and then it pulled back, and that was a much better trade there off the 50 period. And Bitcoin is still down here.
Speaking of,
I didn't even think about crypto there, to be honest with you. I was like, well, let me see what else we can trade. But there it is, Bitcoin right there at 63 and change. I'm going to go grab some water and come back and see GameStop at $45.
As we have GameStop, AMC, and some similar names making these climbs, Bitcoin also making a nice little move to the upside for itself here, bouncing off of that 60.5 area that we had throughout the weekend and making a bit of a climb yesterday, but really continuing this move to the upside today, just brushing up against that 63,000, as Sean just noted there as well. BTC up about 2.5%, almost 3%. Ethereum up more modest 1% here, just below that 3,000 area. Smaller gains here in Solana, BNB, Cardano, but nice upside moves for Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, both up around 7%. So Bitcoin, no slouch when it comes to items making moves to the upside today, guys.
Thank you very much there, Dara. Looks like Novavax just joined the breaking out the top party. Didn't give you a dip into 11s, but nice consolidation breakout here on NVAX. We saw this has like it's like 32% short interest. I know there's obviously other sources out there. I think some of them have it a little bit bigger. Generally speaking, when you take a one late here, when it makes the first level move, which is the quarters into the evens, I want to tighten the stop up. So I'm going to give it to like 11, 50, like just underneath that 60 level. Don't want a winner to turn into a loser. AMC still holding right around VWAP. I'm short at 42. It's at 43, so not a heck of a lot happening there. And then, of course, the leader, whatever you want to call it, the Don Data at this point, if you're into that sort of thing, making some higher lows on GameStop. If it takes out the top, I wanted to be in. Novavax has a lot of room to run. Big time short float. But if this does fail into VWAP, I'm holding AMC pretty much all day. All these chip names. Big disappointment. I've just canceled my AMD breakout trade. Clearly, you're not getting the breakout here on AMD. It's just not happening. Broke underneath VWAP, so that looks pretty nasty. And then NVIDIA, we mentioned this was going on in NVIDIA. Couldn't get past 900. It just failed VWAP. Oddly enough, when the ones everybody likes are weak-ish, Intel is at the high, up 4% today. However, there's always a but. The but it's getting into resistance. So you're about 20, 30 cents away from the spot that usually I'm short Intel. Breaks 31, and we'll look for the pullback as well. Joel, you're absolutely right. Before we get back to Adara, Reddit up 12%. Obviously, this is going to be an adjacent to GameStop move. Volume's much, much better than it was pre-market. I didn't think you could trade this pre-market. I'd be very, very careful above 60. If GameStop can't make another push to 34, I don't think you want to be buying this one on the highs. It's just very much a sympathy play, but VWAP looking pretty solid there. I'm picking AMC for my short there in the memes. I'm already in Lucid. And then Novavax was just a breakout play on a short float sympathy. Still waiting on Baba at VWAP. That seems to not want to pull back for us to get back in. Let's go to Adara.
Solar names also on watch here today amidst that otherwise upward push in some of these heavily shorted companies. We have Solar Edge, this one actually getting a downgrade this morning, still up almost 7%. So nice look for SCDG, 14% short float. We also have SunPower, another solar company here, up 20% with a 20% short float. So nice move up here for some of these solar companies with short floats, guys.
Maybe it's not a horrible idea. So I went in the back there and I ran into my good friend Michael, and I was getting the honey lemon ginger combo, and he goes, no, my friend. Old Chinese medicine, mint.
Yeah.
So we've got the peppermint going on here. He looked at me like I was crazy with the honey lemon ginger. I like it, tends to work. So we're gonna salute to everybody with their mint. I don't know, I've never really had peppermint tea. I probably have, but not one of my favorites. We'll try it. So, all right, just quickly here, Disney pulling back, GameStop. I'm sure, Neil, we've all probably talked about this a lot for you guys. So, I'm probably going to use the 50-period moving average. And then if it moons after that, I like to sort of set my orders and forget them. And you know what? If this comes back down to the downside, I just don't want to sit here and watch sort of a lot of this capital get depreciated when we've seen already this $33. We've already had a great trade here, I feel like. So maybe a pullback to 29-ish. I got to put my order in now and decide ASAP if this is something I want to do. Just looking at a 3 and a 5 and all that. Yeah, VWAP is down there at 29 anyways. So we're into those levels now. So a little bit of a break back down through 29. Let me just put that order in right now to get out of that one. So a break back below 29. And we'll punch out of it. I'm going to use a limit order so we don't get completely railroaded, but that's going to be something for me to look at. 28.50 or so out here for GameStop. Remember the spread too, though.
Yeah, and with GameStop back underneath that hull price, I just tightened my stop to essentially right here on Novavax. I'm reacting to every kind of move. And it's just holding the top end of the range. I still want it to break out, but if GameStop holds down or pushes down, I want to make sure that I'm not kind of trapped in there with a wider stop. You can always adjust if you want to. I just got some out on AMC, starting to pull back underneath VWAP. So, we sat that in that short. We just basically waited for GameStop to be under the hull price. And then when it came down, we get some out. If it goes back up, I'll only add to it if GameStop is looking weak in that moment. Still nothing on Alibaba. Baba's got a lot of time, so I think we can, like I said, we can be patient with this, but it is now just holding the highs right where we got out at 84.50. It's just kind of chilling out there and not a heck of a lot happening. So I'd like to get back into this, but I'm not chasing the high of the day on Alibaba. And as was rightfully pointed out by a few of the viewers, Pinduoduo also going adjacent to Alibaba, but one of the reasons to be patient on Baba is look at PDD now. Underneath VWAP, already pulling back much further than Baba did. So if that happens to Alibaba, I don't want to be in early, and then all of a sudden we got a bad price. Adara?
Looks like it's a catalyst for Tesla, though this came around 10:15, so a bit after this initial move. But we did have Xinhua reporting that Tesla's new Megafactory has been granted a construction permit in Shanghai. So this news coming out a little bit later. Also lots of social media attention for Tesla, but this is a catalyst to keep in mind as well today for TSLA that I just saw, guys.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, look, any sort of positive news out of China, I think, helps rally a lot of these names because there's so much negativity surrounding the idea of China and all that. I mean, you saw Starbucks with a pretty big miss there as they had under sales as well. Wow, back up to 76. We had mentioned that 72 buy zone if you sort of zoom this back out. It's too bad I should have got involved there. Maybe we'll look over at some Dutch bros. It might even be more than this. Yeah, look how long ago that $72 level was for Starbucks. Come on. Where is that level? Oh my God, it must have been way under. I thought we had talked about 72 a lot of time. Yeah, here it comes right again. Let's zoom this back out. So there it is, man, $72. That goes all the way back to 2022. So some good little levels there on Starbucks to watch out for. Okay, so SoFi was actually fine. We wound up getting some out, but there it goes. We do get out now of SoFi. I'm gonna zoom back in a little bit for that, as it does finally take out that top. So we had sort of got out of probably 75% of this, as we had already lost on Robinhood. That idea didn't work out for us. So now I'm starting to get bullish now all of a sudden again. So, you know, the market really sort of withstood that first move down. And then since then, we've just sort of been hovering around VWAP. We're holding the 50-period moving average. We're still above even 18.2. I mean, if you're going to look at the NASDAQ, we had 8 straight up days in the Dow. We talked about 3 straight positive weeks for the NASDAQ. And we're still above the 50-period. We're still above everything here, man. 18,250. That 18,000's nowhere near now. I'm pretty positive about the market. So, I mean, I don't know. So far, so good. I just want, and also, just because we often don't talk about, you know, share size or anything like that. Even right now, so I lost about like 2 or 3% on SoFi and Hood, what we made on GME, if not less than that. So all the focus today, and I talked about this, for me was on GME. So whatever I lost on NVIDIA was nothing. Hood and SoFi, yeah, I was in NVIDIA early at 900, then I got out. It was on that China news right here.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, yeah. So I got in, and then I was like, oh my God, it's going against me. And it came back, and I was able to get out for flat, which now, I don't know, I'm still happy about it, but it did rip up there. Anyways, it just goes to show you about managing an expectation on a stock. Oh, this just halted, by the way.
GameStop halted down again.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So if it breaks through, so my trigger was 29 and change. 28 and change. It looks like that's going to hit immediately right now because there's the 50 period. I should have been more aggressive looking at that 50 because obviously it's changing. But right there, VWAP is still pretty consistent in and around 29. So that's the idea for me is that level. So let's wait to see what happens here with GME. Disney's the only one I have left on board right now. So long. Yeah, me and Neil do not think you did, Ramin. Check the logs back there.
It is 10:40. It is time for Sector Watch, although I'm not sure I heard it in my ear until just now either, Ramin. But let's go over to Adara to see what's going on.
Do not question Ramin, though. She did say it.
Really interesting look in these tech sectors. Some weakness in some of these mega cap names, Microsoft, Google, Meta, NVIDIA, a little bit weaker here. Especially worth noting Microsoft, Google, and Apple, which is pretty strong. All 3 of those on watch heading into 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we're supposed to get that OpenAI event, which could have some interesting implications for all those companies. So keep an eye on that. Apple, Broadcom, a lot of these chip names very strong here. Intel notably strong on reports that Intel is in deep talks with Apollo for $11 billion financing for this Ireland plant. So nice look there for INTC. Health technology, kind of a mixed sector here. Finance a bit mixed to weak. Producer manufacturing pretty weak. Consumer services also a bit more of a mixed picture. But we have some strength in consumer durables led by Tesla getting apparently this regulation approval for this Shanghai plant, or at least for permits. Also a nice move up here in process industries, utilities, consumer non-durables as well. So lots of sectors to keep an eye out here, guys. Lots going on in this market, of course.
Oh, man.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Elon in the chat, what do you think why Oracle is so lame lately?
Go, man, go.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like Oracle has kind of, like the cloud move for Oracle already happened in terms of the recovery. It's just been essentially trending down, waiting for a catalyst. It feels like when the market pullback, during this earnings season, you basically need to blow it out of the water and then, go from there. Unfortunately for Oracle, people aren't as excited in where the growth is going to come from. Like they've already made the move. Like where is the next wave of growth going to come for them? There's the bigger cloud names, which obviously everyone is going to be involved in. But I just feel like it's fallen asleep. And anybody that wanted to put money into the rally and the recovery in Oracle kind of already did and has been reaping those benefits. So as far as I'm concerned, when you get back underneath the 50 period on the long term, that's when it doesn't have the excitement, and suddenly it's just, nobody really cares about this name until they do something again or have good news. Maybe wait till the next earnings cycle. I put things in the penalty box typically when they can't hold back above the 50 period. It's something even Daniel Shea was talking about, and I feel like it's just kind of in that penalty box. Right now, you're still halted on GameStop. You'll be open in about 1 minute or so. So I said I'm getting back into AMC on the halt, on the tight stop, but I don't want this going higher on me. So I had a break-even stop on it essentially right away, because if this starts to go higher before GameStop opens up, I don't want to be holding it to the top without GameStop open. Tesla was a great short at 125 if you were in it. I just saw that in the chat there, DJK. That said, I mean, at that moment when Tesla turned,
Nice.
it's weird, but the meme stocks kind of turned as well. And it feels like that was weirdly adjacent. And unless you were thinking that going into it, I don't know why you would have been looking Tesla short, unless you were just attaching it to the meme names. That's exactly what worked out there. I liked Rivian and Lucid. I was in Rivian for the first move down on GameStop, but now Rivian's kind of holding on to some strength. Lucid, on the other hand, is a sympathy play. Looks like it should have been the good one underneath VWAP here. So I kind of feel like Lucid is the better of the EV names to fade. Obviously, they're all weak in the long term, but underneath VWAP, as long as we're not breaking highs on Tesla or Rivian, I feel like this is going to be the safer one to hang on to. We're going to be open in, like we said, in GameStop in a matter of seconds there. We'll see what happens. I'm not predicting where it's going to open. It currently says flat, but if it does start going to the downside, I suddenly prefer Lucid more than I like Rivian or like Tesla or any of the other EV ones. And then COS is another one we'd try, but COS is already at the low of the day. GameStop opened back up. Looks like it's flat for now and trying to head higher.
Okay, we're in Google right now. I just put an offer a little bit higher. All right, so where is my GME? Here it is. All right, $30.27, bouncing exactly off VWAP. So it's all good, baby, because this is not all a dream. You're watching live GameStop trading. You're not, I mean, honestly, these are multiple fills, multiple outs, talked all about different levels. We're out if this breaks 28, whatever that level was right there. I'm not here to gamble. Like, we've really talked about these trades, why we like them, where we've liked them. So for me, man, that's going to be my stop area for GameStop. So let's just put that bad boy in right now. $27.99. If we break that, then we are gone like Donkey Kong immediately out of that. So let's wait to see what happens. Break of that, and we're gone on, oops, that's not a mock, that's being out. $28 break, and we're out of this one. So far, so good on that. We're gonna put that stop in right now, $27.99 out of 100%. Push offer, it's now accepted. So that's that. Now I don't have to worry about it. We can look at other things. All right, so Disney. I mean, Disney started going there, by the way. It got into 30s. That was the best fill that we've had, was 35, 36. We're long here below. We're long at 92. But our first trade was all the way up there. So I know, Neil, you were looking at
900.
You were looking at shorting AMC, but GameStop right now is pulling back a little bit with AMC at 355. But you just mentioned Nvidia going to the upside. I wanted to short. We can go over there. I'm shorting Google now because it's down 2. All right, so I'm trying to find something that's relatively weak in case the market wants to pull back, but I am obviously acknowledging that the market's not doing anything. So in lack of GameStop doing much, let's go back over, have some fun here, and see if we can make a little bit of money with Google, trying the short rate now.
Oh, every single time we come over for a break, and I'm like, it's about to break on any stock, that's exactly when it starts dipping and the break doesn't happen until... I know what's gonna happen. 900's not gonna break on Nvidia till like 11:01 when we send you guys to the midday.
Yeah.
But it's at 80. It's at 898. AMD's taken VWAP. I do like a VWAP dip buy on AMD, but right now it looks like breaking 900 could be the next play on NVIDIA. All right, I'm watching paint dry at this moment, so whatever. I like AMD off of VWAP in here. It just made a higher low wick, 152.40. So I'm on the bid in the 60s, and we'll give it into this level. Kind of a tight stop underneath VWAP. If AMD fills first, probably means that NVIDIA hasn't broken that 900 level. I think that's kind of obvious. We'll see what happens next. Alibaba, pretty much a nothing burger. GameStop is back at that VWAP. I'm looking over. AMC's taking out highs, so I think we had the right idea to get out of that and just see what happens with the halt on GameStop, because GameStop going lower, AMC going higher, no need to be in it. Rivian looks like it's trying to hold up. Lucid, for my money, I don't know if we can still get this at VWAP, but I think this one in front of VWAP is where I need to reload. As if GameStop's going lower, I want something adjacent to it. But look at cost. Like, cost is already at the low of the day here. Like, there's no point even trying that. VWAP, at least there's room to go on Lucid, but there's no point getting cost. It's already retraced everything.
So it looks like we are now out of GameStop. So congratulations to everybody there today that was able to put some damage into your account on the positive side, at least, for GameStop or anybody. Remember we said like the shorts were gonna print on this too, and they've had just as much opportunity, man. That's $8, $10 straight to the downside off that wick top. So again, that's an indicator generally. And there it comes back into the downside. So we got out on a 28 break. We didn't get any slippage whatsoever because it was ran right into a halt level. So 27.90 we got out there, 27.94 we got out. So now we'll wait to see what happens here for GameStop. Again, not huge, right? Our last little take there was just $5, but we did have a nice move there into $8, and we were basically YOLOing this thing up at 37. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know if I'll have a stock that's going to be bigger than this, but for right now, GameStop, by far, the P&L winner here. We're going to see what happens with Google now. Hopefully we can put some damage on this name as well, coming back in. But we already said, like, I don't think there'll be a stock that will move like GME today, but...
No, wow.
Well, maybe. It could just be getting ramped up. I don't... It's only 10.50, you know, so... We haven't had that many trades today.
Novavax is going.
Well, so we've only had 50 fills today, which is like sounding the alarm. Am I feeling okay? But again, 50 fills, and it's a great position to be in. So we're happy where we are, man. It's not a huge green day around here unless you were really trading GameStop. So far so good. GameStop by far the #1 name here. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk with Adara now and see what's Money's talking about.
DXY continuing to trade in a pretty interesting range here, coming back to that previous support area around that 105. We got this as support November 2023 a couple times as resistance, most recently serving as support last week. So definitely getting into a tighter range here is the US dollar. Worth noting as well, we did pretty light day for economic data today, nothing major to speak of, but we did get some comments from Fed's Jefferson saying a lot of what we heard the last couple weeks from the Fed, saying there was some progress in inflation and it has retreated to some extent, but it's still a source of concern. And Fed Jefferson also saying that it's appropriate to keep the policy rate restrictive until clear inflation is quote unquote ebbing, and also that we need to maintain the policy rate in a quote restrictive territory for the time being. Also making some comments about the dot plot, saying that it can be an important tool when interpreted properly. So some comments coming from Fed Jefferson. No more Fed scheduled to speak today, though tomorrow we'll have Fed's Cook at 9:10 and Fed Chair Powell at 10 a.m. That'll definitely be something to watch out for. Tomorrow as well, we have U.S. PPI followed by CPI on Wednesday. So lots of economic data and Fed speak to check out heading into the rest of the week, guys.
Appreciate it, Adara. NVIDIA did make that break of 900. You see I got 20s to the long side. It got to 01s. Now starting to pull back. I also got AMD off VWAP. But that break, you can take a breakout trade, especially this time in the day. If it doesn't want to go right away, I do not need to hold on to it. If it comes back into VWAP, maybe we'll get like a 98, similar to what we're seeing over there in AMD. But either it holds a bid, 900, and we look for a re-entry in here, or we wait around for some kind of a bullish move off of VWAP. Again, everyone do your own thing. I always scalp out on a breakout trade. The first push up, just give me something at that first dollar, whatever that initial candle is, and then throw the stop in just underneath the break even. If it goes right away in one shot, great. If it doesn't, fair enough. I am in AMD under different circumstances. this is a stair step to the upside situation on advanced micro devices. So we said we'd grab that one off VWAP. I'm gonna get some out in front of 153 and then go from there. Apple, I feel like it's been forever since we even mentioned Apple. So I feel like Apple is about like how I feel about Alibaba. Like I want VWAP, I want it to dip by, but Apple doesn't want to go anywhere but upside. I don't want to be chasing this move. Unfortunately, we didn't get any longs in Apple today, despite that being one of the ideas at the open. You know when the memes are going, you're gonna have your attention on over there, which is the fair thing to do. That's what you want to have happen. So I don't know if we get this VWAP on Apple. Same thing Alibaba is just, now it's barcoding. There might not be another trade in Alibaba today the way it's going sideways. But if you had it early, great. Same thing with Apple. You basically had to have those off the schneid, and that was more or less.
Here we go.
AMD is the newest trade off of VWAP here. We'll see if we can get into the highs. Zai asking a firm short. Remember, it's a meme name. So I'd be a little bit careful with the firm shorts because that's just going probably in sympathy to some of the others.
NVIDIA, $2 right now. So we've got it. We took the 900. We took a dip buy as well. We're long at 899.60 right now. So it's coming up to $2 in the money. This is another sticky note trade, 900 long. Let's see if it works out, man. I mean, VWAP is right here right now for the market. So maybe we get an upside push here for NVIDIA, sorry. Here we go, let's go. We're sitting right here. Can we make $3 winner for you again? This is why I told you we don't stop. I said we'd be on GameStop. Bang, Sharif, we just put $3 in our pocket again on NVIDIA in 2 minutes. So there it goes back up there to the upside, man. We are definitely a fuego right now. Nice move upside here for NVIDIA as it just continues to go. Right there, Disney as well, trying to go. Google, we got a piece out on the bottom there as well. Man, Neil, what a show. We destroy NVIDIA for now and GameStop for now. Two big names today. NVIDIA, GameStop, both the only sticky note trades that we have on board, and they're PL1 and 2. So far so good here, man. Let's go upside now for NVIDIA. I want to try to hold this one as well. If the market actually rallies, we talked about how resilient this market is. Where is exactly the top of NVIDIA? Trust me, it's not 908. It's a hell of a lot higher. So let's have some confidence in these trades. We talk about that all the time. We're sitting in Disney, we're sitting in NVIDIA, and we potentially had too much confidence in GameStop. But not really. We put the money in our pocket. It's like when we got that super chat, the guy made 17 grand. Hey, if you get out at the very top, you make a little bit more, and if you get out right now, you make a little bit less.
That guy took the Halt trade too, which is
big trade.
Same
one that you had.
That's like taking out that. It was also a break of the high. Like, technically, I know it halted upside, but it was also like a high break, like a right off the open. Look, Novavax is continuing to go through it. I feel like the meme move just went from GameStop potentially in an NVAX here, is that's now up 50% or 47% and still going. If you're wondering where the high is, basically Friday's high is $14 on Novavax. Someone just asked what's the top on Novavax. I mean, Friday it went to 14, so Friday's level is the only one. You got to pull it out ridiculously far on the daily chart to find any key levels on this price. If it gets through 14, then this one could be the transfer of squeeze at this point. They were threatening going bankrupt, and then they got a deal from Sanofi, and it was a lot of money. It was like $500 million, something like that, when the market cap was like $500 million. So that's the reason for this one also going to the upside. The shorts are getting squeezed today, but a 14 level is what you got to get to on Novavax, and then you're breaking out some highs. With GameStop underneath VWAP, I feel like this is the next shoe to drop, would be that 14 level. If it pulls back, I think you go dips in 12. I had this as a sympathy long, and when GameStop pulled back, I got out. Probably should have thought about that the memes are jumping over to this one, and then got back into it when it retook that high break. So we'll look for a dip buy on Novavax. Could just break 14 right out though, or outright.
We're having a problem now because Google's really getting excited here when the market's doing nothing. So it looks like this short idea was not a one for longer of a play. Market actually going down. I picked the weakest name, and it's going up. So we're going to have to discuss this, Google, and get out. So if this breaks 165.50, which it's going to do right now, then we're punching out. I do have some bids lower in case it sort of hits down. There it is. In case it sort of hits downside. So there we go. We will have to just slap a fail on this. I don't know. I mean, Google started going. We picked a relatively weak name there, I thought, and it started going back up to the upside. So NVIDIA still trying to go, man. This is still $2 in the money. We're still cooking on this, so all is well over on this side. But we did just take an L there in Google. So we'll talk about real trading, man. Up on SoFi, up on NVIDIA, down on Hood, down on Google, GME. GME, look nowhere else. Okay, look nowhere else. See this shiny thing over here? Well, this is GME. All right, Disney, again, Disney flat, basically, and that's that. So today will be a big day. We've talked about it, so we don't have to keep going, but so far so good. And look what's happening in NVIDIA. Another sticky note name. Have faith. I always hear Adara talk about confidence. I mean, what else? What else are we even doing here? This is the sticky note. 900 dip buy long for NVIDIA. Okay, I mean, we got out of it there. Instead of a dip buy, we were able to get it on the way back up. It broke 900, then dip bought into 900. Like, we did exactly what we said we would do. There's the break, there's the dip buy 900, there's the dip buy 899, and the rest, as they say, is history. With a GME long, Apple long, didn't get into, NVIDIA long, ARM 110, if that comes through, great, and then Alibaba. So, I mean, what a day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Make sure you do hit the like, the subscribe, and all of that. If you're having fun now, make sure you do check out Real Trading as well. Go to realtrading.com. You can get all the shorts, all of this stuff, relatively cheap. That's what allowed us to do some of this damage here today. But although I didn't go short anything today, other than Hood and SoFi, which were completely borrowable. And by the way, boom, right back in right now. We get out there, so it's all good, but Robinhood is now pulling back in, and probably our friend SoFi as well. So there you go. Remember, we always say this? There is Sean Katina taking the worst fill of the day. So thank you for that. But at the same time, you know, we know what we're doing, and we're still putting up numbers. So there it is, SoFi out there at the high of the day. You're welcome, whoever got that fill.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, a winner's a winner. If you don't have a stop on SoFi, like what if SoFi, I mean, it's probably not going to squeeze like GameStop, but you got to have a stop somewhere, especially when you're holding on to that last piece, right? Like whether you trail it, I love trailing stops when you're in the money, maybe you move it around a little bit, but you got to have it out. Speaking of, back through 13, Novavax just put a dip. It just got to 1280 on a dip, and I had it on the way back through 13 on the way up. But the second it got into 1-to-1, it immediately started to pull back down in. And GameStop's starting to go again, so we'll see. I have my stop down here at 1280. GameStop is also starting to go. We do have Novavax, but these have been the two biggest percentage-wise squeeze names. Now that you're back above VWAP here, I'm going 28 stop, and we'll get VWAP long.
All right, here we go. We're back into GameStop right now. Long 29.24. Roaring Kitty is back at it. Here we go. Nice little move back up to the upside for GameStop. If we could put more money in our pocket right now, let's get out of a third of this GME position in and around 30 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. We're back in this name. We're not just one-trick ponies. We already averaged this in 3 times. We'll get back into it now and try to use some of these areas as our out one more time. So like a break below this 27, I know it's so obvious. I'm trying to make trading as simple as possible. Trying to trade less names, the best setups possible, and then give you guys an opportunity to look at what I'm doing and say, okay, this is what's happening. Trying to risk management. So here we go, GameStop. We're gonna get a piece out at 90 if we can. We could just take it out right now. Maybe not a bad idea, but there it is, a nice upside move here, just temporarily for GameStop as volume starts to pick back up in this name. But remember, it's been real weak, man. I mean, like since 10 o'clock, it really hasn't been able to go. There was one moment where we halted and got going, but after that, it's been a weak name. So at this point, you're really just like...
Well, keep in mind though,
it's a little late.
It is past 11 o'clock. I knew this was going to happen. We'll get to the midday. This is still above the original halt price and breakout. I know it's under VWAP, but this is $27. It was that first halt upside. And look where it bounced. So when you go from like those halt to halt levels, it's still respecting it. I'm in Novavax. Oh, I just got filled. Novavax just took the high of the day as well. But it's been a fun one. It's been a wild one. It ain't over by a long shot. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, and who knows? GameStop could be at $40. GameStop could be at $20. AMC could be at anything as well. Let's just see what happens and enjoy the ride as we take you on over to the Professor and Adara. I don't know what the lesson is this week, but I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic one, and there's plenty you can learn. Even if you're just paying attention and watching some of these squeeze plays and halts for the first time, and there's a lot that we can gain from this. So let's get to the midday. It's been a fun one. Whew, take a breath. We'll be back.
Yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Well,
breath. We'll be back.
yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. And what a morning it has been on these here markets. Everything and their mother's fourth cousin moving to the high side or downside, depending on whether you're long or short. We already got the OGs making their way in the chat. I see you, Easy Trader and Mompulsive, Mr. Long Shorts in the house as well. Balba Nambi, yes, Ponzi, Fonzie. There's trades of all sorts of cars today for you. 605, Ronaldo, Andrew Chow, Ganja Fire, Fiddleback, and Darwin. Shout out to Michael Lloyd, one of the OGs there in the chat. Ted, Cass, Capucci. We got Matt Barth, 1320 Wolf, Benton C. I see you, Big Bob Dub. We got Andrew Chow as well. Stefanzo, Man. Who else we got here? Alaric B, D-Loaf, Alex Enzo. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you for joining Adara and I on the How to Trade show. Lots to talk about today. I'm sure you guys already saw the big kahunas in a plethora of trades. Some good trades already on this side of the desk. Let's get to AAPL. Late to the party, but look for that retracement on that 186 dip and pop, and was able to get long nicely on Apple. They already wet my beak on some profits. Let's look to see if we can break high a day. Keep your eye out on Apple and Softy and Google. The OpenAI event, Adara, coming up at 1 o'clock.
Eastern.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and that
Yes.
should have market moving implications. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this fine morning?
Good. It was a good weekend. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I went out of town. Unfortunately, the weather was meh, so that was a little less fun. But you know, you make the most of it. You have good times, and you're ready to take on this market with the viciousness and swiftness that it deserves. My game plan for today is to go back to being my scalpy self, to just kind of try to go at this market with conviction and to take trades if I have conviction. If I don't have conviction, try to stay away. But if you have that conviction, if you have that yen, that yearning to get involved, then get involved. I also got involved in Apple, so I guess I am joining you on this trade.
I like it.
But I saw, it's interesting, I didn't even notice you were involved in that when I was initially trying to get in, and I was like, oh, perfect. I liked that 9 EMA bounce, and I think basically the same reason you got in, though you definitely have a better price than me because you noticed it earlier.
All of 5 pennies, Adara. Let's hold on to these here horses, because, well, it's not a lot.
No, I just want to see if we break below 185.95, so a couple pennies away. I'm going to have to get out. I'm trying to keep risk management pretty tight. Same with, that's what I did with the TQs as well. Risked about 5 pennies. We dipped below that VWAP, but kind of a riskier trade anyway, and so I just got out of the long. I was really just trying to play it for a couple pennies there. Also, thank you so much to Kyle Burdett for the $4.99 super chat. Big Kyle will be back on the charts tomorrow, listening in and getting the bearings today. And then he has a special comment for you that I'm going to like.
Oh, I didn't even look at it. Let me see here.
Just look at the last line.
All right, Kyle.
So
I
thank
like
you very
that.
much,
I like
Kyle.
that. It's staying on. You guys can come with the comments, but it's staying on. I love you guys, man. You guys always troll me in the chat. Shout out to Big Kyle, and I think he's still on vacation, so shout out to him. All right, guys. We have a couple of more things to cover before we get started on today's lesson. Let's get to that right now. Let me show you the small cap gappers. It's going to be full of these meme style names. You got AMC. I just heard the Katina man yell again about GME as it got off the 50 period. They're on the 5, 27.5 holds nicely. And there goes 30 in that 30.5 touch. Let's see if it can work its way back near highs. So GME, AMC just printed highs as we speak. A cool 33% up on the day, 391 HOD knocking on the door of $4. Donald John Trump also up as well. Keep in mind that a star witness may testify today, and that could help things move on DJT. So you should have eyes on it just in case. CC
LD, not a meme name, but moving up nonetheless, a cool 84% above the volume weighted average price. Alas, it has not broken that pre-market high that at 266, only 260 pre-market high, but keep your eye on this one. It's above VWAP and trading quite well. NVAX, you heard Neil cover NVAX multiple times today. I'm not sure if the Katina Man had eyes on this, but this one has been in one direction and one direction only since 9:55. We've only had one red candle on the 5-minute chart. Everything else has been green, and this thing is up well over 50%, 56% and change up on the day. So we'll keep eyes on this monster here, definitely. What else we got here? OUST at day's high as well. It printed 14, sorry, not at day's high, printed 14 at day's high at the volume weighted average price right now, trying to hold above VWAP at 1340. This one is a holdover from last week. You'll see Elst had a fantastic Friday. I mean, this thing really got going. We still haven't broken Friday's HOD. That's around $14 and I believe 17 cents. Best we could do today is 14, so still an inside day for OUST. We'll keep eyes on all these monsters. I did get out of Apple because it did break my stop, but that's all right there. We'll look to get involved, but I think we have like one more minute till we got to do that read. So what are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, took a couple L's, but we're just trying to make some M's here. Did have this AMD. This went awry. We had to pop down an Apple that got me out of my Apple long, same as you. I don't know if same price, but I got around the same time. Then this AMD, I liked the short. We had the lower highs. We were peered. We had a perfect moment for that VWAP rejection. We were also having that rejection around that pre-market area. I thought, beautiful, beautiful. And then we're gonna move down, and Apple, for some reason, AMD's like, hey, I'm gonna jump. I don't know why these two are moving in opposite, but I'm like, do your thing, 21. We broke above that 65 area. I was gonna risk about 15 pennies. Got out. No skin off my back. Slightly disappointed in what's happened so far today, but you know what? With slight disappointment comes a desire to continue and strive to do better.
Absolutely. Adara, we are brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, do you remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days do not have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in convenient, chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the good old USA and shipped directly to you. And we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use this promo code TRADERTV at the checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. So visit bluechew.com, promo code TRADERTV for that free special deal. Shout out to the good folks there at Blue Chew. All right, so let's get to the lesson du jour because we're already 9 minutes behind here. Daryl, we are talking about moving average crossovers all week long and all the derivatives thereof, Ram. And so today we're just going to introduce the topic and then we'll get a little bit more nuanced as the week goes on. So welcome traders. Today we're diving into the world of moving average crossovers, a powerful tool for identifying trends in the market. But before we jump in, let's establish that foundation. Look, we just got to establish what moving averages are and the crossovers, and then we'll get to the actual crux of the lesson for everybody who's new to trading. So imagine a line smoothly following a stock's price chart. That's a moving average, essentially averaging a security's price over a chosen period. So the moving average could be 50 days in length, 20 days in length, 10 days in length. You customize it, you choose it, and we use different lengths for different reasons, okay? So the longer the period, typically the smoother the line will appear on the chart, reflecting the long-term trends. Shorter moving averages typically react faster to price changes and capturing short-term trends. And you'll see more action, more zigzagging, more ups and downs on the shorter-term trends than you will on the longer-term moving averages. So just keep that in mind. So shorter MAs are for shorter-term trends. Imagine, and here basically this is the whole idea here. So the red line which is on this line over here on this chart. It's the 200 EMA, and the blue, the 20 is the green, and then the 50 is the blue. So kind of counter to mine. Mine, the blue is the 200 and the red is the 50. So you'll see exactly there, the 200 much less bumpy, much more smooth, even though it is sloped down, it has less peaks and troughs in it, and that just establishes that it's less susceptible to these moves up on a daily basis. So the power of the crossover, what are we using it for? So the magic happens when these moving averages cross paths. So when one, say 50 period moving average crosses above the 200, either up or down, it's the crossing of the moving averages that we're talking here, not what the actual moving averages are doing. So here's where trend identification comes into play. So the first thing we're going to talk about is something known as the golden cross. This bullish signal occurs when a shorter moving average, like a 50, crosses above, so goes from south to north, above a longer term moving average, like the 200. So the 50 crossing above the 200, widely seen in the technical analysis market as a bullish signal in non-consolidative markets. Okay, it'll suggest to you a potential shift in power with short-term momentum taking over and a possible uptrend on the horizon. So when it crosses from the south side to the north side, usually it's a bullish indicator. When it crosses, as I'm about to explain to you next from the north side to the south side, it's a bearish indicator. And that's what we call a death cross. Brace yourselves, because this one signals a potential downturn. It occurs when the shorter term moving average dives below the longer term moving average. This suggests weakening short-term momentum and a possible downtrend developing. And here it is. Thank you, Adair, for adding these awesome charts in. You have the blue, here is the 50, the black is the 200, and this is the golden cross. Now, we're gonna talk later this week about what also look for when you get these crossovers. But for today, we're keeping our focus limited, mostly to the actual crossovers and not to the use of any other indicators to help confirm the bullish move. And again, here is another example of it. This is the death cross. The 50 period here is orange. The 200 period here is blue. And the 50 period crosses from the north to the south side below the 200 period. That is a death cross, and typically it precedes a longer term downtrend. So that's not the only type of what's going on over there. The Katina Man is about to say bye-bye to NVIDIA here, it looks like, as it's headed to the high side there. Katina Man, what's your look on that one? You're looking for? The Katina Man is long 899 on NVIDIA, by the way, guys. It's trying to break through 902 as we speak. He's looking for 910. So we have a 908.88 HOD, but he's looking for that 910 break. Good luck there for the Katina Man. Higher highs and higher lows on that 5-minute look there on NVIDIA. Keep your eye out on that. And if you don't know, sorry to interrupt the lesson, you don't know, we have another channel. It goes by the name of More Trader TV Live, and you'll be able to see Sean's general positions and Neil's general positions. We're trying to work on the exact price for their entry. Sometimes it comes off a little wonky, but that's where you get it there, and you'll be able to see what they're trading. So the double moving average crossover, Ram, is another very important one as well. So we talked about the golden cross, we talked about the death cross, but there's also the double moving average crossover. So what is this? This strategy uses two short-term moving averages, like the 10-day and the 20-day, okay? When the faster moving average, like the 10-day, crosses above the slower moving average, like the 20-day, it can signal an earlier entry point into a potential uptrend and vice versa for a downtrend. So when the 10 period crosses below the 20 period. So it's the same idea here, but you're looking for it as an entry point for a longer term trend. So you're still keeping your eye on what the 50 and the 200 are doing. What you're trying to do in this case is become more nuanced with your entry so you can get a better price, and that's where you're employing the shorter term moving averages like the 10 and the 20. These signals, however, can be more frequent, and they are prone to false positives due to their shorter time frame. So as I always say about the charts, if you're charting on the 5-minute versus the 1 hour, your failure rate on the 5 minutes is going to be a lot higher than your failure rate on the 1 hour. That goes with here as well. If you use a shorter term moving average, its failure rate in whatever it's doing is likely to be higher than what the 200 is doing. So putting it all together, remember, crossovers are just one piece of the puzzle. Here are some tips to solidify your trend identification. Confirmation is key, as it always is. We don't want to put too much stock into one indicator. So don't base your decisions solely on crossovers. Look for confirmation from other technical indicators like RSI and stochastics in order to gauge the momentum and identify potential overbought and oversold situations. We will be covering how to use RSI and some other indicators with moving average crossovers later this week. But price action is also super important. Price action confirmation strengthens the crossover signal. Look for breakouts above resistance levels, which is bullish, or breakdowns below support levels, which is bearish, obviously, happening around that crossover point. And remember, while powerful, crossovers can be misleading, especially during volatile markets. They generate false signals or whipsaws, as we call them in the trading world, where prices reverse shortly after the crossover. And here you have an example of a bullish crossover where the 200 takes the 50, and then I guess maybe a month later or so, less than a month later, you get a bearish crossover. So one thing you really need to keep your eye on is the market trending? Yes or no? If the market's trending, crossovers do better. If the market is consolidative, crossovers mean almost diddly squat, okay? So you really need to understand the overall trend of the market before you decide to use these crossover techniques, all right? They happen often in consolidative markets. They don't happen as much in trending markets. So your takeaway: mastering moving average crossovers takes practice and a healthy dose of skepticism. I know I was quite skeptical of them, especially earlier on. By understanding the golden and death crosses, exploring variations, and incorporating confirmation techniques, of which we'll be speaking out more later this week, you will be well on your way to identifying trends with greater confidence. And here's a bit of a bonus challenge with you. Test your newfound knowledge. Grab some historical charts or paper trading account and practice identifying the moving average crossovers that we've talked about today. Paper trading, don't forget this, guys, allows you to experiment without risking real money. And I'm going to say something that's unpopular, and I don't care. You shouldn't be trading with real money if you can't prove profitability in the sim. That's it.
I concur. As someone who's still struggling to prove profitability with real money, if I'm being incredibly honest, but I do still think that this sim was incredibly helpful for me because it helped me get a sense of what works for me, and that's why I'm trying to trade more in that style right now, scalp.
Gotcha.
But yeah, thank you so much to your IT remote for 2 super chats. $1 super chat. Thank you so much for both of those $1 super chats. Your IT remote. Not seeing a message here. If you have anything we want to say, feel free to tag one of us, and we will definitely look at that. I'm seeing some mentions of Rivian in the chat. We'll get to my questionable life choices in a moment, but let's take a look at Rivian first before we get to that. Rivian, call it Revian.
What is happening?
That's a nice, I know Neil was looking at that one earlier. Is there any news on him?
Oh, this is
not seeing anything on Rivian. That's a nice look though, and look at these levels we kind of have. That 1107 area kind of popping up twice. This could actually be a head and shoulders. And I say that because this would be maybe too clean of head and shoulders, but look at this little kind of neckline you've got here at 1095, right? Shoulder, 1107, shoulder, 1107, head, 1120. Not sure, but this could be a nice look. Alex Enzo asking if I touched GME. I have not looked at GameStop right now. I haven't even gotten game started, so I can't GameStop. But if we have this VWAP bounce, I don't dislike that. Could be a little bit compressed. That being said, spread on this about 8 pennies. I do not know if I trust myself enough on this. It's something I'd have to study very intensely before getting involved. That being said, yes, so I took some L's earlier, which I mentioned, but I have another thing to talk about. I put the L in Tesla. No, I'm joking. We actually had one really nice trade in Tesla, and I'm proud of how I managed the trade that lost. So first trade you've got here on TSLA, I got involved in this short because I noticed we kept getting to that 173.30, then batting it down to 173.10s. I got at 173, I think 15, took 2 outs on that. Then I got short. No, I got long again. Sorry, I got long because I noticed we were these lows were getting higher and higher. So I said, you know what, Adara, go long 173.21. 3 guesses if you figure out why I picked 21 there. But no, I got long 173.21. Was trying to take it into 33s. Tesla decided to drop. I said, if we get below that 173.10 level decisively, I'll get out. Got out. Really proud of where I got out because I get out and then it drops to the viciousness. So, sometimes you have to be proud of how you manage losses, even if you can't make wins. I've been watching this like a hawk. I think today I'm going to marry myself to Tesla. And I don't mean marry to Tesla like that's the only thing I'll trade. But I'm watching this book because there are scalp opportunities here for me. Scalp opportunities, if you will. That 172.80, that was a nice little support area earlier. If that flips, I'll take that short. So I think there's some things for me in Tesla. I think my biggest issue on the last couple of days, trading way too many names, trying to limit my scope so I can make better trades on the few names I am trading rather than making trades on a whole bunch of names. That's the look. What are you looking at right now? I see NVAX.
Yes, I was just about to look at NVAX. I think, let me just find out their name. Rohit Sharma wants to look at NVAX. But before I do that, my man Nimit is back in the dang chat. And I'm happy because, he likes these small cap gappers, Adara. So anybody who likes these small cap gappers is a friend of mine. I'm kidding, of course, everybody's my friend. Tup's making moves. Who remembers Tup, guys, from a few months ago? Well, it's moving big boy today. Again, not likely any news here on our friend Tup, but moving with all the other game stonks, the meme stonks that are moving on the day. We're coming into $2 here in a minute. So look, we don't have a catalyst, so we're not going to cover that part of things. But here's the look on Tup. $90.25 million market cap just dropped to 89.75. The float, 42.5 million shares. Let's bring in trade ideas and shout out the NOS boss on his crew and find out what the short float is, if any. On Tupperware, come on, Tup. Wow, 24.25% of the float on Tupperware is shorted. That is big boy shorts. So we will keep an eye for a possible squeeze here on TUP. It behooves us, though, to do some charting here. And as I said, remember Tupperware from a few months ago and looked like it was moving big boy in October. It had multiple big boy days there in October and then again in December. So one thing I'm noticing immediately, 200 on the daily has been an excellent area of rejection. We reject October 12th, 2023, reject. We reject again December 26th, 2023. And now we're back right there. We've broken above it by a bit. So I am, thinking that there is a chance here that we revert at least below this 190 area, 180 area to close below the 200 period on the daily. That's just from a macro sense, right? Looking from the wider time frame. Now, with respect to areas of resistance that are not indicator related, that are price action related. Nimit, I'm thinking, right away that $2 level, I'm looking at that $2 level because it's the whole dollar level. But there's not too much in the way of interaction with $2 here on the chart. In fact, it looks like, the majority of the closing prints, during this consolidated period over here from late November till essentially late January. We had definitely issues with $2 on a closing basis, but we were able to break above it multiple times on a wicking basis. So I don't think $2 is really going to be, it's going right now. It's breaking above $2, $2.03, right? Above that, really it's kind of hard to chart because just so down and to the right, I'm going to go ahead and say the peak over here, 260, 250-ish area. And then again, yeah, this 260, 250 area is even better. The reason is because we closed on October 12th at that level, even though we wicked all the way up to 298. And then this was a very similar close again in December. So 260, 250, I'm thinking, you're probably, if you're holding and it's still going at that point, I'd wet my beak on some profits around there. So that's my look on top. Let's go into the 5-minute here and figure out how to weasel our way in. So the 20-period retracement looked to be the best. I'm going to say look for a 10-period retracement on the 5. For the most part, it's held the 10-period quite well, save and except for this candle over here at 1020. Most of the retracements into the 10-period on the 5-minute chart have all been bought up. Keep your eye on that. I hope you print on it. Now, let's look at NVAX. for Rohit Sharma. Rohit, this was a big boy move into 14 bucks, 13.97 technically, and now we're doing the dance with, you guessed it, the 10-period moving average on the 5. So this is featuring a lot today. It's at about 12 3/4. We've had wicks into that 12.5, 3 bottoming tail candles, all of which have been met with buyers buying at that $0.50. I'm talking about NVAX, $12.50. Seems to be a buyer. Looks like we're curling here. Look for a break and hold above 13. If you close above 13, I think there's a good chance we start curling up here. I like the fact that we're holding up at the first EMA, not the second or the third or VWAP. You're holding up at the 10. So this looks awfully bullish if it is able to hold up at these parts, but look for a closing print and then a curl. I'd look for a first 5-minute candle to make a new high as confirmation on a closing basis on NVAX. There's so many small cap gappers to talk about today there.
That's a gorgeous look on that Novavax.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice look. Right now, Andre Bourget was asking if there's any news on Amazon. I did see that earlier today, the National Highway Traffic Safety Association opening a probe into its Zoox vehicles because there was some braking concern for that its Zoox portion. This initially, I did see this in the morning, it wasn't reacting too much. Now looks like a bit of a delayed reaction there. So just a note on AMZ, I'm not sure if that's why it's dropping, but that's some context. Basically flat on Tesla now. I don't want to sing, I don't want to pull Rick Astley, say never going to give you up, but I think if Tesla keeps showing these areas, I'm going to keep trying to play them. I think I've been a little bit too, let you down and trade you, I don't know. But basically, I did trade that short there. I took that short I was mentioning, took it at 90, so got about, I think, 15 pennies, which for my purposes, I'm pleased as punch with. Then here's my issue with Tesla. Every time I try to flip long, Tesla's like, meh. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just stay short. If I take, and it doesn't even matter if these levels are ranging. The second I try to flip long, Tesla bares its teeth. Tesla shuts the door in my face. So I say, you know what, Tesla? Then I'll keep going short. That's cool. I can take these levels short. So right now for me, the short on Tesla is still, at least in my little baby ranges, going to be that 172.85-esque into 172.40s. That being said, I am willing to play it long, but I've noticed every time I try to play it long, and I mean, when I say play it long, I mean we've been bouncing. And Tesla's just like, bye. So I think the long has been really bamboozling. I think there are opportunities in the short, at least for my purposes. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart. And keep in mind, I do trade a highly specific way. So that's something worth noting as well. And as I say that too, we keep bouncing. Now it looks like we're going to break that floor. So Tesla really does not want to be long right now, but I can live with that. If Tesla wants me to keep scalping short, I shall keep scalping short. I'm also acting like Tesla cares at all what I want to do. And I know it doesn't. But yeah, it's been a really fun time in these markets, not for my P&L, but certainly for my energy and for me just, participating and being an active participant in these markets. Intel, I wanted to wait before I got involved in this bounce, but I'm seeing a bounce. I'm seeing a bounce of that previous support a little bit.
They were able to get new money again.
They did, yeah. I knew you were always calling, saying that
the world's most, I don't know, what's the word?
Coddled.
Yes, thank
Coddled.
you. Perfect
That's
word.
the word.
Perfect word. They seem to be getting money from every which way. And
very coddled, Sharif.
I'm looking to go long on Apple at 185.50. So the dip trade's already in. You'll be able to see that through the aqua line right there. It makes it down there fantastic. If it doesn't, I don't trade it. So simple as that. Here's a look on AAPL, the VWAP, the volume weighted average price at 185.50. But that's not the only thing at 185.50 that I like. Look at this pre-market top here where that $0.50 acted as a prolonged level of resistance for whatever reason. If it makes its way back into the $0.50, I will want the smoke. And so I'm putting my order already there. Now, initially I was looking, I'm like, all right, let's see what it does with 186. All right, so we took a quick scalp and pop on 186, but it's become awfully consolidative. A little bit below 186 in the 185.80s, a little bit above 186 in the 186.20s. Okay, so it's a bit of a sideways move. Fantastic. That's not how I'm gonna trade it though. I'm going to trade it off a key level, a more specific level. I'm not looking for Apple to range today. There is a catalyst for Apple. We do have the event coming up at 1 o'clock. That will either be I don't want to call it a make or break for Apple, but I don't anticipate it's going to be consolidative during that time. It may sell off if the news comes in that the market didn't like, or it may pop if it does. So I'd like to get some momentum trades rather than range trades on Apple. That's a really labored way of trying to say that very simple sentence. So I'm looking 185.50 here on the dead one. We'll continue to see what happens there. Somebody was asking me to look at Meta, and I absolutely will oblige to look at META. Now, I've said this in the past, and I want to say this again. I looked for Meta today to basically reclose or to close this entire down move. Meta has had this propensity to go red to green multiple times last week, multiple times the week before, and I assumed we would get that entire move back today. And alas, we didn't. We got almost about half of the move, a little bit more than half of the move we recovered back. 462, essentially 463 low of day, with the breakdown area being around that 474.5. Even though technically the high of day is 473 and a third, but look, this is where we started breaking down in the pre, 10 minutes before the open. So I'm looking for a possible hold of this level. It seems to have found support at pivot support level 2 at 465.50, and now it's kind of consolidating sideways below the volume weighted average price, below the 10 period as well. Let's see if this one can curl back and put a higher low. So if this ends up being the low, this will be the lowest of the lows. So I'm going to keep my eyes on Meta. If it starts curling back up, I want to see a gap fill from that big down move today because it's been doing it in the past. The other thing that is doing things here, the Amazon, I was just talking to somebody in the chat, I forget their name, I think his name was Gorev, was just telling me, look, man, I took Amazon, it was a blue sky setup last week, and then all of a sudden it tanks. I said to him, when you do get all-time highs on a name like Amazon, there's likely going to be some profit taking, but I was unsure about exactly how long his hold window was because, if it's just 1 or 2 days, then you're stopped out. But if you're looking for a little bit longer of a swing, Amazon obviously looking good. And it's looking good here as well. And the reason I say that, Adara and Ram is because neither of which cares.
Oh, so I care. I care.
Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. We're putting it.
So salty.
Ram just said in my ear, she personally does not, what, right?
Oh,
so
I do know what. I do know what I think.
185.58. It's putting in these bottom tail candles. If this closes above the 10 period, this will be interesting. But right now, it is one rejection after another on the 10 period moving average on the 5 minute on Amazon. But it is looking here like it's bottoming, tailing. So we'll have to wait and see whether that actually shows us that it's going to curl back up or what the situation is. The dead one, though, is on the way back up, I guess, into 186.25, Katina, man. I was looking at 185.50 for a dip trade on Apple. Alas, it doesn't look like it's coming back into that almost $0.25 here, there.
Yeah, it's a nice look on Amazon, those rejections. And I see what you mean. I feel like it's trying to be a bit of a bamboozler. It's like, I kept rejecting, but now I'm bouncing. So I think that Amazon could be nice. I'm also really proud of what I did with Tesla. I'm just gonna say it. I was saying initially I wanted that 172.80 rejection, right? And then I was like, Atara, you know what you're seeing here is you're seeing that we're having slightly lower highs. So I did something that is not the type of trade I would normally do at all, but I felt really confident in it. And like I said, the biggest thing I'm trying to do more of is don't get involved in trades if you don't feel confident, but if you feel confident, by all means, put your foot in the door and get involved. And that's what I did. I basically started building this around 172.52s. Why? Because that was an area we had a little bit of a rejection off of. So I said, worst case scenario, I get half the position I want at 172.52s. Then I say, you know what? Imagine things go even better. Let's also have a dip sell at 160. Oh, sorry, NVIDIA first.
Doesn't matter, keep going.
Sorry, then my other opportunity was like, you know what? If we reject at 172.67, then we'll add to the position there. So we had an average of 172.59, pretty respectable. I said if we break above 80, we get out. We got to about 77s, then we fell to the downside, started scraping in this out around 172.40s, scraped out the rest around 172.35s. Please this punch. We could actually look like we're bouncing up again here. I don't have a read on this right now, but I think what I'm trying to say is if you like something, go for it and treat it with the swiftness and the viciousness that the market will treat you. So that's what I decided to do there. Going with that swiftness, that viciousness. Apple getting a little bit of a pop-up. As much as it pains me to say, yeah, I do not think this is a range trade. I totally agree with what you said there with Apple.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be what happens at that event.
Yeah, I mean, it's
makes
just
sense.
like there's so much riding on the line. Apple, no AI news. Apple, no AI news. All of a sudden, they're teaming up with OpenAI, the AI. So, I mean, I think we're going to get some sort of move here. It looks like it's curling back up, Adara, and yeah, so a bit of a tougher look here for me. I was sitting at 185.55. It's not gonna trigger. It's putting in a rounded bottom, likely defending the 20 period on the 5. The wicks are coming into the yellow line and bouncing off that yellow line. You do not have a closing print below that yellow line. So here we go. It looks like it's gonna rounded bottom. Shout out to the NOS boss and all his rounded bottoms, and Kyle Burdett, who likes them as well. So we'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on this. 186.50, I guess, really is going to be that breakout area or resistance area. I know we have 43 highs, but that $half area has been holding up for a little bit. Let's go back from a few days ago when Apple did pop. Where do we get up to? Have we broken those highs? So what the hell day is this? This is 187. So that's a 9 a.m. print. This is in the pre, and then right at the bell, we got into 187. So 187 we know is resistance from both the is that the aftermarket? Yes, the aftermarket on May 2nd and the opening range, thanks Katina man, the opening range trade on May 3rd. So 187 in full focus today. That is a local resistance level on the dead one Apple. And I would say, you know, if we make it into 187 and we don't continue through, I'll be looking for a short off there, because each one on the previous days, May 2nd and May 3rd, has paid, and paid with dollars, not pennies, with dollars. So 187 resistance on AAPL. That's if it makes it up there. We'll continue to watch that. Guys, I don't really have any good trades on at the moment. I'm not liking anything. So let's flip back into the small cap gappers and see if I can trade these nutty stocks. Okay, let's. I don't mean that. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so we're getting a nice $12 hold here on NVAX. And yeah, I'm going to flip to NVAX here because it's trading like a decent small cap gapper. We know this one has 24.5% of its float is short. This $12 area was an area of resistance earlier. Now it's holding as support. So I'm going to go ahead and see if that area wants to defend again. I'm going to look at NVAX for a possible $12 dip and hold there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that NVAX gives you that shot in the arm for the upside. That would be fabulous. It's a nice look there on that VWAP hold as well. And that actually reminds me, I want to ask you something.
Oh.
So with some of these small cap gappers that are more like the GMEs of the world or the Novavaxes, where they have a short float and they behave a little bit more parabolically, do you treat them with the same rules and the same kind of approach that you take with your normal small caps?
So
Okay.
if they're meme stocks like GameStop and AMC, I'm not going to have that pre-market high trading above the pre-market. No, these are for the we're not around for a long time, we're around for a good time kind of
see.
stocks. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That
That's my look there.
I was just curious because I was like, I know that some of them are
question,
kind of
yeah.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, they look the same.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, one thing too I'm searching for is this out on Google ahead of I want to take this long. And the reason it might be like, I initially thought this was maybe a short as well because we were kind of curling down. And I said, you know what, Adara, we did the nice pop up, and the way you trade, you know you're not going to be in this very long, Adara. So I guess I'm talking to myself out loud. So I was like, you know what, take your 14 pennies and wave goodbye. Nice little British hand wave there. I want to get out 166.09s. Is that what I set my order as? Yes, it is. 166.09s. That was the top of that little flag earlier. We could break out. I'll miss the breakout. That's not how I trade, though. So I'm okay with that. And that's what I'm realizing. You have to trade how you trade. My biggest issue, my hamartia, my fatal flaw, to use, I guess, an old English term from like grade 10 English, my hamartia since going live has been that I've not been trading my style. And that's why I really appreciate Sharif talking to me about this last week. Like, hey, if you found something worked for you when you were in the sim, why the heck are you not doing that since going live? And you know what? I didn't have a good answer. I did not have a good answer. And I think my lack of a good answer was an answer in and of itself. That being said, Google, if you're gonna curl down a little bit, I'll take you out a little bit earlier. I have no qualms. I am qualmless. We'll get out 166.03s. I'll take 8 pennies. I was basically risking here until like, 165.90, so I'm okay taking a little bit less, and that's why I call it scalpulation. I have a plan, but I am more than willing to adapt that plan if that means I make some profit and I don't lose anything. So you could call that greedy, and I have called it greedy in the past. I think that's a different form of greed that oddly enough comes from fear. But you want to secure the bag or secure the egg. And in this case, my market protein was going to be that Google long.
Wow, you were just bam, one after the other. The egg, market protein, I love it.
Well, I mean, why not, right? You gotta have.
No, but I agree with everything you just said there. Fantastic. Big Kyle Burdette is in the chat again. He just dropped a nice little level there. SPY gave a nice bear flag. Look on the 15, and if